Hello, welcome back to Seawolf's Den. I'm Crafting Ron. Life's been crazy. I have not had a lot of time to craft. Things have changed in my life that are more or less for the better, but it's created a lot of chaos that makes it hard to make time for it. So there's a group that I'm a manager of in Facebook that I've had for years. Started when I started doing Mage Night, kit bashing and stuff like that. And it was a long time ago, and it stayed in the range of 200 to 500, maybe close to 1,000 at one point, members. And I really didn't promote it. I just wanted a place to just discuss with people that were interested in my kind of stuff. Well, I guess the Facebook algorithm changed, and now it's up to now almost 20, 30, maybe 1,000 people. At 20,000, I decided to award somebody with a craft. Turns out I ended up getting 25,000 before I even could make the decision. So I'm going to award two people. Both are named Mike. It was a random choice. Really weird. One of the Mikes wants a terrain piece for a 28mm 40K Grimdark Gothic piece. I have a lot of stuff that I use, Greebles that I use for 40K. I don't know 40K. And I kind of told him that. But I can make a Gothic piece. He wants kind of a centerpiece to his table. I told him to keep it within a 10x10 range, since I have all these 10x10 boxes, and I'll ship it at my cost. Fortunately, both of them are in the US. So to make a 10x10 box, the base has to be like 9x9. And holy cow, had no idea how small that was. So that's what this is. And I made a piece of wood about the same size. I'm going to probably sand. This was out of a previous attempt at a base that I just had extra left over. So it actually has sand on it. So I'll leave it there, but I'm going to sand down these edges to make it rounded, more natural looking, although the square kind of doesn't make it look very natural. This is more of a template, so what he gave me was this picture. He wants something like that in the middle of his table. I can't guarantee exactly that, but I can get as close as I can. I've got some ideas. I'm going to try to be as Gothic as I can get together with all the stuff that I have. I am kind of putting some investment into it, buying some other pieces, some bits from 40K, but he says Space Marines and Tau. I know vaguely what that means, but I'm not going to try to attempt to research it beyond that. So I have this little piece that is left over from my kids' Play-Doh stuff. I think once I paint it, I've already taken some pieces off, but once I paint it, I can make it look pretty Gothic. I've already unscrewed it just to be able to manipulate it. I want to make this the kind of the top of this castle gun emplacement type situation in his picture. So I'm going to place this on top. I might put this is a cap to, I think I bought this at Hobby Lobby. They come in these tubes and animals, and I think I bought dinosaur skulls in it. But this top made me think it could be a dome, so I'm going to put that dome inside there like that and make it more decorative. Might even use some 40K bits that I have. Also have a piece like this that I know that it's not perfect, but he's asked for stained glass windows. I might attempt to paint that. Who knows? And I'm trying to find another piece like that so I can put it on the other side. But I like the way that looks. I know vaguely what this is from, and to be honest, I don't care. So I'll probably mount this on top here like that. And then for the towers that he's got in the picture, these giant medicine bottles. I may leave them this tall or might cut them down. They're all about the same size. Paint these up kind of steel looking with maybe some steel bands around them. And so we got that now. For the walls, I'm going to use a Proxon cutter to cut walls. Leave a gate. I've got a gate from Halloween sale that can go right here. I'm going to make these look more Gothic with the Tropicana tops. Again, walls, Tropicana tops. I may end up printing the cannons. Like I said, I might cut off an inch of these. Since we've got the Tropicana tops, I can cut off any amount. Make sure I gotta make sure they're the same and that they measure up, and then we can place them down like that. So that way, whoever's in the tower can see over the wall. I got a ton of different 40K bits that I'm going to try to use. Maybe hang a banner off of it. Got a shield. I have a bunch of these, and I'm thinking about cutting those in half and like mounting them along the edge of the wall. Give them kind of a barbed wire look. So that's that. Hot glue will hold these down. I may have to scrape off the sand so that it'll get to the wood. But that's the plan for Mike's centerpiece. May not be perfect, but I'm going to try to have as much fun as I can with it, just to get him what he wants. So until next time. Welcome back to Michael's 40K Grimdark centerpiece project. He gave me a picture and gave me an idea of what he's hoping for, and I'm trying to come as close as I can. Alright, so I did a little bit of work. My plan is to have, he's got 4 towers, making them out of large medicine bottles that I have, and some walls, which will be made of this foam, and I'll do that. And then the front and back door will be embedded in that foam. Got both of those. It will be the tower. Now, when I did this, I looked at these and thought these were a little tall. So I cut off an inch off this one, put the orange juice top on, used dollar store Jenga pieces for my battlements, and that's what I'll do for all 4 of them. I'm not going to make these stone, kind of make this kind of a combination stone and metal, futuristic kind of thing. So I'm going to paint these up, put some cardboard bands around them, kind of like I did another project. I don't know, I just feel like this kind of looks cool. Maybe put some beads, dazzling beads along to make them look like a bolts. One on the bottom and one at the top. And then what I'll probably do is put some of these dowels or skewers up and down at the 4 points of the compass on this circle and paint it up. Now he wanted some stairs going in from the wall to the tower. Probably not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to have to imagine. Gonna nail these down, first paint them and then glue them down. I may actually glue these tops down, and then glue is not going to hold, so I may, that's an idea, screw it in from the bottom with some wood screws, 1, 2, and then glue it. Then glue it this way. And then we have a stable tower at the 4 points. That way, even in shipping it hopefully wouldn't fall apart. I'm going to rely completely on glue. These walls will fit here. We'll have to cut out a chunk on each point to get past the lid. Leaving the lids on because it kind of adds a little more of a feature to it. So then we'll have this here with a front door on it. And I guess now that I look at it from the camera, I'm going to have to do the bricks on the other side as well. But there's not a whole lot of room once we get the walls in, a whole lot of room left. I'm trying to picture this. At least this here. A little bit. So that's the way I'm going to work it. I think it's kind of getting to that hot mess stage, but speaking of hot mess, I did this just to see what it looked like. I wasn't sure. I had to cut off an inch from here because these are too tall, and I wanted to make sure that it all looks. So now I'm going to do this 4 times. Got my lids, got all the Jenga pieces I need. So we'll do that. And one thing I thought of while doing it was just to sand down the edges to kind of give it a look of a stone. Hopefully it will look that way. I may go over this with some modeler's putty to kind of cover up the edges and give it more of a unified look. Also, I have these features that I'm going to leave. I'm going to do the walls last because there's not a lot of room to work. So I'm going to paint this separately, paint these separately, paint the walls separately, and put it all together like a puzzle because it's just so little room to work. I've got these features, which are just woodies that I bought at Hobby Lobby, thimble and some other piece, and kind of having this ancient temple turned fortress look to it. Plan on putting skull beads on top, these 2 as well, skull beads. and then maybe more skull stuff up on this thing. Probably going to take some 40K bits like this and hang it off these, maybe paint it up into whatever clan colors you want. I want to put something up here, but I want it to make sense, so it may just be another skull. I've got lots of other pieces I can put on here. I want to dress this up with some 40K greebles and a door. I got a big Gothic door I'm going to print for this side, maybe this side. And then of course I got to print out the cannons that sit up top here. So that's where I stand with this. Hopefully you'll like it. Shouldn't take me too long to get all this done. Until next time. I've made some progress on the 40K Grimdark centerpiece, fortress, castle, whatever he wants to call it. But it still is not glued down. This is screwed down. I took advantage of the way this is built, and I just screwed in the top. I gotta tighten it even more. And it's a little more difficult because I put screws with no threads or anything on the bottom. Make it easy. I may have to go back and change that idea to just put some threads on them so I can tighten it real good. I may just go back and still have it screwed down, but glue, give it more of a secure, and then position it properly. So that's a finished assembly tower, and I'm going to sponge it with various grays and blacks and browns, and I'm thinking about putting a stone pattern around it and kind of reversing what I thought I was going to do. And here are the others. I printed it in clear or translucent resin because I just had extra. It's going to get painted over anyway. So I made 3 more of these. I still got to put some detail on it on 2 of them, and all 4 of them have a different gun on them. This, I'm going to use the hot wire cutter, cut that corner out, maybe just a little bit more than that, so that'll fit right inside there. I've filed or sanded down the areas where these towers are going to sit so they sit flush, and even these turrets can turn a limited amount. You turn them too much and they'll become unscrewed. I kind of pivoted on some of it. I took out the bottom half of that. I'm just going to leave this like this. This way a miniature can sit here and be a lookout or something. But I'm going to probably place that on top. That's primed and all the pieces are together. It just has to be painted. The front door. Added a back door. I'm planning on putting these spires with dolls on them here and here, or some fashion or another. Who knows? I may dress it up with other things. I've had this a long time. I know that it's a different symbol than it probably wants, but I like it. So debating on different places to put it, perhaps. Perhaps there somehow to cover up that hole. I've got to get this primed. I still got to get it detailed out. Got enough windows that I printed enough windows, and there's the extra door that I can put 2 on each tower. That's the towers. I ended up printing an extra front door just in case. Don't think I need it though. Probably put these windows on here and detail them out once I get it primed. Alright, so we'll screw those in, but first I got to prime this. First detail it out and then prime it. Well, until next time. Okay, we're back. Took me a while to get this done. Life has been crazy. Work, house renovations, all kinds of stuff. But I got it done and made some decisions along the way that I didn't really record. Ended up using these a lot, and I love these. I fell in love with these acrylic pens. These were incredible, and I would recommend anybody that wants to get some detail. And I'm not perfect, but it definitely improved my painting for certain areas in this project, and I thoroughly enjoyed using them. I made a decision to not glue in the walls, so that if you want, you can just take it apart and have your little battle there, or you can leave it on there as you wish. I did use the acrylic pens for the doors to give them a little more detail. I wanted to make it, like he asked for, a Gothic look to the, give the castle kind of a Gothic look, but also kind of Warhammer 40k. He asked for cannons, so I did a different one in each tower. Like I explained, the big change I made was I added another cannon right here. Just a bit. This was kind of sticking out, and I started adding bits and pieces. I said that's starting to look like a cannon mount, so I built a cannon out of different pieces from my. Outside of that was fun build. I was glad how this turned out. Oh yeah, this used to have a piece to it that it broke. Used to have a piece to it on top. It actually broke off in many pieces, but I tried to glue it, and it's just trying to glue it back together. But I gave up on it, mostly because it won't fit in the box with this on top. So he can put whatever he wants on there. There's still kind of a mess up there, and I may take the skull off because it just looks so bad, and put a new skull up there. But outside of that, I showed it before, had these bits, and I just wanted to create kind of a barrier, kind of a battlement, combination barbed wire battlement, and I said, well, those will look interesting on top, just to keep people from going over the walls. Sponged these with various colors, sponged the towers. I screwed the towers in, glued them down, glued them into their tops, but they still turn. I won't turn them too much because the screws may come out. I know nothing about 40k in terms of lore and factions, so I put flags and symbology all over the place that may or may not be according to canon or whatever, but I liked what I had, so I put it up there. And again, I used the acrylic pens to give what he asked for was a stained glass window look to some of the windows. The Play-Doh Barbie, I don't know what this was, Play-Doh little gazebo turned out to be have a great place for a stained glass window look, so I went ahead with that, and then used some of those things you get in medicine bottles to keep things dry. I forget what they're called. I did a couple of those to be barrels, and I'll tell you what, we're gonna fix this. Oh look, it came right in, because that's bugging me right now, and I'm gonna put a new skull. There's something else there, because the skull was messy, so we're gonna take that out. I never even glued it in. That was kind of nice. I'll definitely get another piece like that. I'll just pull it out, and I'll come up with something else that'll fit in the box. Had this left over. I actually made two of these to sit with this project. I was thinking about putting them right back here, but I changed that and I lost the other one of these. But this one, let's put it in the box and see if it'll fit. And if it does, then I think we found what we need. I may paint it just stone. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Alright, final chain. Last minute change. A little bit of light gray. Steel gray is really what I'm using. Pewter gray. And that's usually enough to do something this small. Making sure some of that black still kind of comes through, and then it just creates the variation you need. So once I get this dried out and glued back on, it's his. I'm going to ship it out and get on to the next one. Crafting has been real difficult for me lately because real life, working my butt off, and so crafting has been put on the back burner, and gaming in general has, although I am writing and I do have a convention coming up that I'm doing a lot more crafting. I'm getting involved in the crafting there at Mythic in Charlotte. They're talking about doing giving me a crafting class. We're going to create Draco Liches or zombie dragons out of How to Train My Dragon toys that were on sale on clearance, and that's right up my alley. So hopefully more on that later as I continue to craft. I have been doing some more, and one of these was the leftovers from this craft. I had this, and I've been working on that, and I'll probably get more into that. I also have some other ideas for videos. I just have not been able to find the time to make them. As far as I'm concerned, this is nearly done, and we can call it a day on this one. Until next time, always remember, seek the wolf in thyself.